Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are here with the season, possibly series finale of Alice in Borderland. We're on season 3, episode 6. So the last episode was a hard one. We lost a good chunk of Arisu's team. We lost Tetsu, who unfortunately succumbed to all of the possibilities of his future that he felt were all going to be negative. And we also lost Sota, who was the brother who was taking care of his younger sister throughout the games. He unfortunately tried to do moves that he thought were going to be better for her, but it turned out to be a trap. And by the time he realized, unfortunately, he kind of rolled the wrong die. But anyway, we're now in a position where Arisu and Roller Demon have figured out where the exit might be, and the number of moves that they have left are quite limited. And they had a plan, but unfortunately, the younger sister of Sota, because she's so devastated by what happened and seeing her brother's body, she did not follow the plan. And so now Arisu is stuck with potentially less moves than he has necessary to get to the exit. And there is also he was also shown a potential future where his wife ends up getting taken out by, well, he doesn't know who, but we as an audience know that the Roller Demon was given an offer to take out Usagi before the end of the games so that it would guarantee that Arisu would continue to stay as a citizen of this world. So a lot of things going on. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to wrap this up. As I said, I really don't know how they're going to end it. My gut's telling me to be prepared for sadness, but I'm hoping it's not going to be all sad. We'll have to see. But I'm ready to jump in. Let's do that. Before I do though, I know this show is ending, but if you would like to know when I drop episodes to other really cool stuff, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And remember that you can watch the entirety of this series uncut on my Patreon. All right. That out of the way, let's get into episode 6 right now. You promised your mama. Unfair! I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I've said it multiple times. People who abuse others, I hope they get the life they deserve. Because she can. I don't remember him telling Roller Demon where to go. No one's gonna arigato her? Arigato gozaimasu. Bye, sweetie. I hope you make it. Seriously, basically the least problematic people in this group are left, although Ray's still a bit of a question mark, but... yeah, it's Hell Room. God, I'm so sorry, ma'am. He would want you guys to keep going. Believe it or not. He was a mess, but he did try to save y'all. Let him do the math. Yeah, math, baby. Our baby. But how else are we going to get to the end regardless? Oh, 15 turns. I thought it was 20. I mean, either way, everyone's down to single digits except for the baby, so... You give your man a pep talk, that's right. It's not quite as effective as his friend's slap across the face, but close enough. Yeah, but has everyone made it, though? That's the answer. It's not a matter of whether or not you two can get out. It's whether or not you have to sacrifice someone. Is it? Exactly. Can you leave the wristband in there? Does that work? I'm terrible at math, so don't ask me, girl. I would have been dead on round 1. Hell yeah! Athletics, acrobatics. She's like, that is my shit. Wait, let him cook. Let the mathematician cook. Do you care? Ooh, good way to put it. And save yourself. I'm hoping she will, because I hope she recognizes somewhere in the haze of her grief that the reason that they're where they are is because they didn't follow Erisu's instructions. Tiny push. That's good enough, yeah. Oh, I knew it! Knew it. There's no way. This Joker's such a... He's going to make sure somebody dies. He wants Usagi dead anyway, so he considers the baby's life forfeit. You made it, queen. You made it, queen. You know there's been women who had to go through the hardest room so far? Killed it and survived? I don't know how she's going to do this. Like, she's going to have to use her legs, right? It says as long as the wristband doesn't leave. Thank you, Yuna. That's it? Period. Unless you have something to say, Roller Demon. Don't trust this man at all. Such a waste, too, you know. Attractive man, just a complete asshat. Feet. There you go, girl. Come on, girl. Why are you all so damn short? Why do we have a few 6-foot people in this bitch? Wow. Mess her up. Damn, this game really wants one of y'all dead for sure. Girl. Not the time to freeze, Usagi, respectfully. But now we got her used 8 whole points that we needed. Don't arigato mi arigato Yuna. But I mean, trauma's trauma. Relax, Aisha. Trauma's trauma. Do we have enough points for that? Everybody down to... Oh, God. The baby's down to 1 point? Oh, that is her son. And he defended her by doing what a lot of people do to their abusers. It's okay. As bad as it looks right now, there's always a way to fix it. Everyone, the maximum that everyone has is 2 now, right? Because... Did we? I'm not liking the numbers there. So what has to happen? Can't be that simple. Why is everyone still standing here when there's a giant exit? Just saying! Bloody well knew it. Knew it! Use your matrix powers. Bend this world, Arisu. Come on. How many of them are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That doesn't count the baby. Someone's got to stay. This is what they wanted. Arisu has to stay. Even though Roller Demon actually wants to be here. Y'all go. This is what you wanted, Usagi, when you came back here. 1 minute! See, and this is such a crazy lesson, right? About how when you try so hard to hold on to things that need to be let go, aka her father, she lost something else. That's all you, girl. Now become a citizen of this world or die. Why does he have to watch them? Y'all are bitches. He made the selfless choice, which we all knew he would. Even if the baby wasn't involved, he would have made the same choice. That is not what she wants in any way, shape, or form, bro. You know she wants this baby, so stop. So having him watch this and know he's powerless to stop it. He can't hear you. She can't hear you. But is this real, is the question. No one's noticing this? No one? The way that shouldn't have been a hard decision. So now you have to stay here forever. Otherwise, we'll kill your wife. The baby! Just kidding. Je confused? How is this winning? I don't get it. A tsunami is our prize? What? Natural disaster? That's what you get for not dying in the game? Are they really just making sure that Arisu, since this didn't work, are they trying to make sure that Arisu agrees? Like, I'm so confused. Kiss my ass? I don't want to! Basically. Insults don't work. Yeah, that's what happens when you have emotions, unfortunately. Don't give him what he wants. I mean, I hate the idea of Isagi dying for it, but you really want to be a slave in this world forever? And one thing about this world that's never been clear to me is that, like, this is supposed to be a land between life and death, right? Which means it's not real, right? Shared consciousness means it's up here. So technically, I just feel like Arisu should be able to control this ish. I mean, Ryuji might be the better one in this case because his upper body is goated. Okay. We got a wave that pushed us right into a memory. Oh, he looks so peaceful. Can she force him back? That part I'm not clear about. Is someone walking behind him? Yeah, it is. Your filthy hands off my face. Look at this guy getting off. Ew. It's too bad we can't kill him again. She ain't scared of you, bitch. Hi. What happened? I thought you would get off on an audience. Damn! She moved so fast the chair ain't even finished falling yet. No, damn you. Yeah, come back, bro. This ain't your moment. Yeah, not time. I don't care. Bye. Oh, did you break the game rules? Oh, wait, is that you? Were you from season 2? Can you give us a flashback? But I thought so. He was breaking the rule. Didn't I say a couple episodes ago when the businessman was saying to him, you're doing things you're not supposed to. You're going outside what you're supposed to do? Sure. Can I just find my wife and get out of here? I'm so tired of games. I just want to go home. I won. And? But I won! And what does that mean? They could both be Joker cards. I feel like they were both Joker cards. So you're a cheater too? Just like the last Joker did. So you got to choose how many days you got left? Is that what's going to happen now?
ジョーカーは誰かではない。
Okay.
この世界を支配する存在でもなければ、このゲームを統括する存在でもない。
Sure. So can you please explain how I get home?
君の運命は私の意のままとなった。君に選択の自由を与えよう。
Father? So this is a gap in time. Is that what's going on right now? Because everything's frozen? Looks like a toilet. Awesome.
そしてもう一方は生だ。
Ah, what this? The light? Didn't I say that was godly backlighting?
死は流れに身を任せていれば自然と死に至る。
Nothing is easy about death. Death is
君
finality.
ならどうする？
The only time I can ever see someone thinking that is a better option is if there's nothing but suffering.
数十年以内に
Yes.
必ずここに
Yes.
戻る。
Let me have those few decades. Jesus.
元の世界に戻りたいか？
Hi, hi.
苦しみ、もがいたまで
Yes.
死の世界に行くのはたやすい。
For you.
あの渦に身を投じればすぐだ。
No thanks.
苦しみも悲しみも
No existence. No happiness. Thank you. No laughter.
あんたこそなんでここにいる？
Indeed. Why are you here?
ここで万人をしながら生と死の狭間を眺めているだけだ。
Then why the hell did you let people play death games in here? You definitely slacking at your job. Well, you gotta cut in a little
死
faster
の
with that
門を
psycho.
くぐらなくて済むからね。
Oh, so you're scared of
道を
death?
進めておいて、
Uh,
あんたこそ死ぬのが怖い。
the irony.
これから大勢の人間がここに来る。
Mm.
大勢の。
Every day, unfortunately, we lose people.
以前君たちが来た時よりもっと大きなことが起こる。
Outside world stuff?
どちらかを選べ。
If you don't run to that light boy, I will kick you in your face.
俺はウサギを連れて生の世界に帰る。
He didn't say that. He said live. Not that I'm saying Usagi doesn't, but we don't even know that Usagi's not in the real world right now.
さあ、
I guess. Is that her choice, though? I'm so confused. Like, shouldn't she be the one who wants to fight? Right? Because we know she's laying in a hospital right now.
本当に興味深い人間だよ、君は。
Oh, is he? Why don't you make yourself useful and help him? I mean, I guess you did. You kept the Joker, the last Joker, from killing him. Bite him!
一緒に死の世界を見よう。
No! I never wanted that. Would you please tell him that? Like, what? Why are you being such a damsel right now, sis? Yeah, it'll never be you. Even if there's a world of death, you think she'll be happy that you took out her kid? You saw how happy she was with just the bracelet.
ウサギを必ず元の世界に戻してくれ。約束してくれ。
Oh, you did make a yakusuk. Do you remember that? Now let go. Be free.
共に生きてくれ。
Yes, they should. Ryuji's fine. Ryuji's fine. See, this is like in Demon Hunters, you know? This is where he gave his soul. Like, he's already condemned, but he gave his soul. Like, one last moment, you know, he threw his spirit out there to save these two. Now he won't go directly to hell. This was probably the least fun scene for both of them to film. I know that water was cold as hell, but at least if they filmed in the summertime, it would have been nice because it's hot as hell in Japan, but...
ゆずは、
One last temptation? But she might as well resolve this now if she can, so she doesn't just do something stupid like go back to this world again. So quiet compared to all the noise that was in that scene. I feel like this is symbolic of her finally letting go. The sun is coming up. That's never happened in her flashback before.
だからゆずはにも幸せになってほしい。
Mm-hmm. That is what your father would want for you. Now go back to your man. Take care of your baby. Gentle push. You gotta go on without me, kiddo. That's a happier memory. We good? Let's go. And let's never do this again. They'll drag you up these rocks. She better be the one to pull him too, because she sat there and let herself be carried by that. by Ryuji for a good 20 minutes. I'm gonna let her have it though, because she's pregnant. Good news, only so much more left. Ah, it's the river of life. Yes. Are they gonna get beamed up by the godlight? She's like, don't you ever scare me like that again.
アリス、
Clap him.
あれから何分経った？
3 minutes.
2分。
ウサギは？
Um,
ウサギはどうなった？
how would she know she's here? Arigato.
ありがとう。あ、
What is An's purpose still, though, I wonder? Because she saw that Joker guy. And when she wakes up, you need to... You can't slap her. She's your wife. You need to yell at her firmly. Don't you ever take drugs again when you're pregnant. I know she didn't know. I know, but still. Taking weird drugs in general, not a good idea.
お腹すいた。
Clearly. Sheet? Yeah. He made his choice. There's nothing y'all could have done for him. He was hell-bent for that place, regardless. Apparently, he didn't feel like he had anything to live for, which is sad.
とは、
Is it a girl?
これは？
Do we know?
ウサギが好きなのがいいと思うの。
出た。
Exactly.
育児しないタイプの男がいいですね。
It's always up to the mother in the end, really, usually, anyway.
絶対逃げない。
It's true. He literally followed you into hell. That's love. Hey! There they are.
卒業できたのも母さんのおかげだよ。
そんなことないよ。
I'm glad he's appreciating her more.
私の彼氏だよって。
そっか。
Is she pregnant?
こそ。
いやいや別に。
いやでも一応さ。
Oh, maybe it's just bulky clothes. Because then again, maybe the game knew she was pregnant and she didn't know. We know that they do that.
今度またアニメ作画で参加する。
Exactly. The dream will happen. Don't know the timeline, but it's gonna happen.
する瞬間ってどんなものですか？
生きてる意味。
Mm-hmm. There she
なんだ
is.
かんだで空手やることなんかな。
Are we gonna see Chishia?
最近はよく眠れるようになってきました。仕事も慣れてきたんで。
So now he's helping the other people who survived to make sure they don't go back.
これで世界に羽ばたくの。
Hey! Oh, her friend didn't make it though. The guy who worked so hard to protect her.
たくましいね。
Hmm. She was very, very positive.
何のために生かされてんのか。よくわかんねえ時期が続いてたけど。
Really? Mr. Fire?
なんだろうね。
This is my favorite character. I loved. I kind of wish he was in this, but I guess I'm glad he wasn't, considering how many people died.
先生にとって
Exactly.
生きてる意味を実感するときって。
Hmm.
今は子供の名前考えてる時ですか。
Sometimes it's the little things. Uh-oh. Is this a real earthquake? Oh God, please don't tell me this was all a simulation, because that's been in the back of my mind the whole time. Is that maybe all of this is a dream and they're really still in the borderland? Meteorological.
震源の深さはおよそ61キロ。
Oh, that guy did say a lot. There was a bunch that are coming soon.
アメリカカリフォルニア州など世界数カ所で同時に記録
That's
さ
what
れ
he
ている
said
ことか
about
ら
a big event was coming.
専門家から寄せられている。
God damn.
Parts of Europe and the U.S. West Coast.
A bunch of y'all about to hit.
Environmental changes.
Are they hinting that there might be
Seismic activity, which could
an Alice in
potentially-
Borderland US version like Squid Games?
Can I have a beer on tap, please? I'll do the same, and then a couple waters as well.
He didn't ask for water. Is that the chick? Can we see the hair, the face? I was wondering if it was the Queen of Hearts from last season, but all right, I guess that's it. That's it. Okay, guys, well, that wraps up Alice in Borderland. And contrary to what I believed, they actually gave them a bit of an HEA. I wasn't sure because this show has been extraordinarily dark. And sometimes with shows like this, when you've had the hero survive so many times, they kind of throw a monkey wrench in the end. I'm glad they got it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy that Arusu, after everything, was able to find the life that he wanted and get the life he wanted. But I was just not sure if he'd get it. And honestly, I would have been okay with kind of my scenario where maybe he did have to stay, but ended up ruling the Borderland. Like that would have been kind of a cool twist, right? But again, I didn't want Arisu to lose his soul, and I feel like that would have been part of the cost if that happened. But yeah, with this episode, it was really all about finishing up, all the things in the game. There's not much to say about the game itself. I mean, I thought we would lose more people before they got out, but Arisu did get everybody out. And again, it's because he just had that firmness. Like, he's like, we're all getting out of here. Like, everyone who's left, we're all getting out one way or another. And even though Roller Demon, okay, no, I guess I can't call him that anymore because he did, I guess, in the last minute, do what he was supposed to do. Ryuji. Anyway, he didn't really have any faith in Arisu, but I think he began to realize as, the games went on that he really does thrive in this world in the sense of how well he does with the games. But it was the motivating factor, right? Arisu, for the first few episodes of season 1, it was all about keeping himself and his friends alive. When his friends passed, he kind of lost his way, but it was Usagi that helped him recognize that his life was still meaningful. But again, I said this a few episodes ago, Arisu lives to protect the people he loves. It really is a huge, huge compulsion for him. And so he kind of transferred that ownership of taking care of his friends onto Usagi in season 1. And then, of course, that developed into deeper feelings going into season 2. But anyway, once they did manage to get out there, we see that I think we didn't get the explanation, but kind of what I predicted, I think turned out to be true, in that the Joker, who was supposed to be the Joker, he was not listening to the rules of the world. I think, I've said in season 2, the different face card masters all explain their games, but they had to follow their games, right? Remember, the one that comes so clearly to my mind is the naked dude who did the game. Remember, he was naked the whole time. That was that tag game that they had to do. But anyway, homie lost his game, right? And he could see that in the end, he wasn't happy about it, but he accepted it. He's like, these are the rules of my game. I set them out. Once the rules are in place, I can't break them, even if I want to. And it looks like he might have had the power to do so, but he didn't. And that's why he ended up getting lasered, right? So I think what Joker did was he was bending the rules of his own game, right? He wasn't supposed to do that. Arisu beat the game, even though I know he threw some twists in there that weren't supposed to be there. But Arisu did win the game, and then he was trying to make him, again, force him to die, force him to stay. And I'm like, he won. He can't do that. And I was right. Thank God we see that he ended up getting lasered. And I don't know, the god of the gap, is that what you should call him? The gap god showed up and ended up having a very interesting conversation with Arisu. And really kind of what I got from that whole interaction between the gap god and Arisu was the fact that he had to play another game, which I'm like, that can't be true though, because again, that goes against the rules of this world. Arisu won. But anyways, we see that this gap god ended up giving Arisu's fate back to him, but very heavily trying to tempt him towards just letting go, right? Just going down the sinkhole, the toilet bowl of death, and all the things that he said that I think sadly typically are the type of thoughts that people who are potentially thinking of ending their lives go through, or people who are experiencing low points. It'd be so much easier. There's no suffering there. It all ends. You don't have to do anymore. Life is there, but life is full of, what do you say, pain and suffering and disappointments and sorrows and struggles. And even if you go back now, you're going to be back here again in a few decades. Like, don't you want to just, give up now? And very pessimistic viewpoint. But, again, I can see how some people might get that mindset. But I love that Arisu proved why he's pushed through these games. Ever since he had his one low point in season 1, he's always looked forward. And even when in the beginning of this season, we see that this Joker couldn't tempt Arisu back to the world because Arisu was like, I'm happy with my life. I have no reason to go back to Borderland, right? That's why he had to stoop to using Usagi to get him in there. So anyway, I love that that Arisu told him like, yeah, you're right. In death, there aren't those things you said, but there's also no joy, right? There's no joy. There's no beautiful moments. There's no time spent with loved ones. Like, Arisu is very much focused on what matters, right? Because even his life right now, is it perfect? Probably not. Is he, rich beyond measure? Is he famous? Is he whatever? A lot of the things this world places value on? Not really, but he has what matters to him. He has his wife who he loves more than anything. He's about to start a family. It looks like he started a new career. Like, he's happy, he's content. He finally found his place in life. And back in season 1, he didn't have those things. Season 1, Arisu probably would have given up, probably would have taken the death deal, sadly, because he was just so lost in season 1. But now he's so much more cemented in what matters to him. And that's why, we even heard the Gap God say that, I'm asking you these questions because you've brushed death so many times. Like, why do you keep going back, or why do you keep fighting to live? And we here find out that the Gap God is even scared. Like the reason he's taken the job as the Gap God is because it keeps him from dying. And so anyway, Arasu just he just kind of told him like, look, I just want to go back with my wife. That's all. I'm not asking for a lot here. I've never asked for a lot. I just wanted to get out with the people I cared about. That's it, you know. So anyways, we see that he had to, of course, rescue Usagi at the last minute because Ryuji was still being the roller demon at that point. And I think, you know, we saw throughout the show that this episode, I should say, that he really started to understand that Usagi and Arasu really loved each other. Like, I don't know if he didn't. Actually, I shouldn't say. I was going to say, I don't know if he didn't see it before, but maybe he didn't, because as you saw me scolding Usagi in the episode, I mean, I love her. Don't get me wrong, but I understand. He's probably like, girl, you didn't think twice about killing yourself to come back here, even though you got a man. So I don't blame him for maybe thinking their marriage wasn't all that solid, right? So anyway, you know, but it became very apparent to him, like when he actually saw them interact for real. And I think really the two things that cemented for him that their relationship and their connection was very deep was when they, you know, were first hugging, when they first met each other again, you know, got back together after everything was said and done. And then, of course, how hysterical she got when she thought that Arasu was sacrificing his life for her. And so, you know, I think he finally began to understand that maybe that's what ended up staying his hand with the gun. The gun, if he had actually used it or tried to use it, that would have been the ultimate level of selfishness because, you know, thinking I don't have that, so let me take it from her. But thankfully, you know, he did have a conscience that kicked in very 11th hour, but still did. And so that's why I'm calling him by his name again. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, we didn't get much more of Ryuji. Like, I feel like his storyline was a bit stunted in this season. And I get it. Like, I think they just needed a vehicle for Usagi to go back. But I almost feel like we didn't need him. I'm not going to lie. And again, I don't know if I was saying, you know, before that maybe the people that we saw from season 2 and season 1, you know, like the girl who's the karate expert and Chishiya and all those people, like, why weren't they, you know, actively involved in this season? My guess is probably filming conflicts for real, but like the real world reason. But again, I think also we see that they were all very happy. So maybe they just did not have a real reason to return to the world. But coming back to the real world reason, I think that's probably why they didn't bring back the same people. And I mean, it's not to say that it wasn't nice to meet new characters. I mean, the ones we got were pretty cool or annoying, but I don't know. I guess I just kind of have an emotional attachment to some of the other ones, and it would have been nice to see them. But as we saw, some of the people who did return didn't make it. So I suppose all's well that ends well. But yeah, so as I said, Ryuji, I just feel like he kind of had a bit of a stunted story. Again, there's not too much storyline you can give someone with only 6 episodes when they're not the lead. But, you know, we got the gist. This guy is just, for him, his focal point had been on death for far too long, right? And I just don't think, it's one thing to understand what death is and what it means and from a clinical standpoint, but he had crossed the line into a very, well, yeah, into obsession. He became obsessed with it. And then the death of that student, that I think unfortunately broke something in him that just he couldn't heal or didn't get help to heal. And that's why he just kind of lost any interest in the living world, which is crazy. And that's why I think it was interesting that in all the things they showed him in the torture cubes there, they all showed him things where he's getting rejected from his job and where he's not being recognized for his work. And you could tell, like, obviously he didn't love it, but he just kind of smirked at it. And I feel like that was that was his way of showing us as the audience that the living world didn't hold any value for him anymore. You know, like you saw how the other people were affected by the bad possibilities. They were crying, they were broken, they were almost in hysterics. But for him, he was like, right? And I think it's because, like I said, he literally had no interest or anything left in the living world that he felt was important enough to be upset over. So as I said, I think unfortunately Ryuji had given up on life from the second that girl passed, and he just didn't know how to get, again, I don't think he like wanted to die. I think he really did believe, you know, that obsession kind of snapped his perception on the danger of flirting with death. But I think that for him, I mean, going into Borderland the way that he did, this was kind of the worst place and the worst way to get in there. And I think that for him, he thought it was going to be something else. I think in his mind, he thought it was going to be some utopic place or somewhere he's going to be able to see all the people he's lost. And, you know, obviously, there was no guarantee of that. And Borderland sure as hell was not that place, right? Sure, Borderland, of all things, he got thrown in during the tournament of all tournaments. So he got a particularly lethal and bloody set of games to be in. Who knows? Maybe he would have felt like the psychopath wannabe Joker if he'd entered in season 1 where you had the card games, which were a lot slower, you know? But I digress. Ryuji's story, as I said, pretty open and shut. I mean, when he went, I was like, okay, bye. Like, I don't know, like he really didn't facilitate anything for the story to me. And I feel like the connection that they tried to create between him and Usagi just always felt a bit weird to me. Like, I get it. They both had this shared experience of losing someone and being curious about whether or not they were still alive and possibly in this other realm, but not to the point where like the way she was acting and yelling at, like, yelling at Arasu over him, like it just, I don't know, it felt weird, a bit forced at places. And I feel like that's sadly because we were just introduced to him this season. That's why it would have worked so much better if they could have gotten someone from a previous season who did this, but even an Anne, like Anne was there pretty much since episode 1. I would have understood it more if Anne had somehow convinced her to go back based on a theory, if that makes sense. But anyways, sayonara, Ruji. As I said, you get your twos for not, choosing the way of the loser and trying to take that girl down with you and pushing her back to her man, because once you realize it was never going to be you, I'm glad you recognize that it's okay for her to be happy and have her family. And so, yeah, that's pretty much that. Everyone else, I don't think there's much to talk about. We saw that almost all of them, despite the negative futures that they were shown, you can see that when they made their minds up to survive in that game and to get back to the world, they all made up their minds that they were going to take the path that was going to bring them happiness no matter what. And that's the one thing that room, obviously seeing your worst fears and traumas come to life is hard, but the reality is your future is always changing depending on decisions you make today, right? So they all figured that out. And I love that they kind of showed at the end that everybody kind of is chasing the dream or taking the path that they wanted to take before and are not letting anything stop them, because now those multiple brushes with death was the wake-up call they needed to know that they needed to do better. So anyway, that was kind of nice to see with everyone. And then of course, Arasu, I love that he was the person interviewing all these people who had gone through the meteor event, and the fact that he kept asking, like, what is your reason for living? What keeps you going? Like, tell me like where your head's at. And it's a good refresher for him too, to always focus on the things that are worth living for. And that's one thing I think that this whole show, and probably the manga as well, like the underlying message of it is that no matter how hard things may be, no matter how dark things get, there's always something to cling to. And if you can focus on that thing and just get through that one thing and go one day at a time, as I said, you'll get to that better place. But you just got to remember that little, even if it's only a sliver of light, it's still there. I promise. Even if it's very, very muted, very, very faded, it's still there. I promise. So anyway, good messaging, and, great for Arasu to be able to get these reminders to the people that he talks to have his eyes on the prize. And I did mention Anne. That's the only question mark there, is I'm not sure what Anne is still up to. She's still like I'm pretty sure in season 2 and season 1, she said she was a scientist and she's trying to figure out like the science of Borderlands. So I don't know if that's what she's still trying to do, but she seemed happy that Arasu made it back anyways. So, and she can see the Borderland people, which is apparently not something she's supposed to do unless the Borderland person wants them to see them. So very interesting where that's concerned. But anyways, we ended the series with definitely an open door for more series to potentially happen. I think the Japanese series begins, well, actually no, because Arasu, they said they were feeling the tremors in Japan as well. I don't know if they're going to continue with this. Like, I feel like with this cast that we've seen, I think they're done. I think they basically let us know this group of Alice in Borderland folks we're wrapping it up with them, but they may do another one, and they're definitely heavily hinting that they might do a Western version of this. And like I said, they did the same thing with Squid Game. I don't know how I feel about it. We'll see. I'll say we'll see. It all depends. If it's produced right and they try to do their best to honor the source material and not Americanize it, then there's a good chance it'll be good. But time will tell. Time will tell. But I enjoyed it. I think it was a nice way to wrap everything up. It was a long wait, but I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.